As I've been saying, I've been universally perceived as some kind of an untrustworthy flim flam man who's hiding something. This kind of thing. And let me give an example of the kind of reprehensible consequences of being perceived that way. Okay. Now, I gotta say that for the first time ever, I am now thinking tonight that my taking me, my son, and my wife together with me when I obtained services from this person. I'm not going to say what the services were, okay, because I don't want to be dragged into a court and thrown into a mental prison for saying something the wrong way. So I'm not going to say what these services were, but I obtained services from this person faithfully for over 20 years, okay? And every time I went there for the services, I brought my wife and my son. Now, what did that involve? It meant that I worked downtown, okay, and I never drove to work. The only time I ever drove to work was during the time when that terrorist in the Washington, D.C. area was taking a buddy of his around in a car who was shooting people out a hole in the rear of the trunk, I guess near the license plate, and they were just driving around and shooting people indiscriminately. And one person was actually shot not far from the house where I lived. The person was shot at the gas station on Knowles and Connecticut Avenue, and I lived only maybe a mile away from there, maybe less. So at that time, I was carpooling with another person at work. So at that time, when it was my turn to drive, I did take my car, but that's the only time I ever drove to work in all the years that I worked downtown, all the way to retirement. Now, so to get the services of this person whose office was downtown, okay, let's say around DuPont Circle, okay, which was walking distance from where I worked in Chinatown, okay? Now, what I would do is I'd take public transportation home, okay, to my home in Kensington, Maryland. I'd pick up our car and drive with my wife to our son's school in Bethesda, Maryland, pick him up, and then drive back downtown and find a place to park. I never parked in public parking, too expensive. I found a place to park on the side streets there just around DuPont Circle where it's free for 2 hours. And I did that for 20 years. And so we parked and then we walked to our services that we got together, the three of us. Now, I got services from this person respectfully and faithfully for like 20 years, bringing my son and my wife this way for the services for all three of us. And here's how things ended up, okay? Just at the end there, here's what this man was saying to me at the conclusion of the services he was providing me. He says to me, "Yeah, you're the one who read all those books." Because I guess occasionally, and this is very rare, I didn't talk much when I was at that place. I don't, in fact, usually I'm not very talkative in public, but I remember I was telling him about some novels I had read. One in particular was a novel about was a novel written by Frank Norris called McTeague, and I thought it was an outstanding novel. The ending of that novel, I was telling this person one time about, I was saying that it happens that McTeague and this guy who's been chasing him, I think I got this right. I think McTeague is the guy who's committed the crime, and he's being chased by a detective of another name. They're out like in the Mojave Desert, and the detective comes down on McTeague, and they're fighting, okay? The guy's been chasing him for quite a while, and the detective kills McTeague in the fight, but just as the fight is ending, McTeague, he shackles himself by, I guess, handcuffs to the detective. So the detective is out in the middle of in the desert. He doesn't have a horse or any kind of transportation. I think they were riding horses out there, and the horses have gone off during their fight. And he's in the middle of the desert. He's won the fight, and he's shackled to this man, McTeague. And that's how the novel ends. I thought it was incredible. So I was telling him about that one time. And so later, we've gone to this guy faithfully, and I've been respectful, and I've been faithful to this person. Taking my wife and son, all three of us together. And I'm saying the reason I was doing that, I didn't think about that till tonight, is because of this way I was perceived. As somebody who was flim-flamming others, was not trustworthy, not credible, weird, and all these other accusations coming my way all the time. And I figured, well, let me bring my son and my wife with me to these appointments to show these folks these are not true accusations about me, and yet nevertheless, at the end of this thing, this is what this guy says to me. He says, like I'm a complete stranger, yeah, you're the guy who reads all those books. Because I guess I told him I had a master's degree in American literature. Now, I could say more, but I'm gonna withhold more. Because that's enough. But it was even worse than that. So after that, this man, he retired without telling us. And we showed up, like, for the next services with him, and he's not there. He's retired. We've gone to see him this way. Me, my son, and my wife for over 20 years, faithfully. We paid him faithfully. We had good insurance, and anytime there was an extra charge, we paid it without argument immediately. And the way I pay all my bills and always have. And this is what we got in return. So how was that merited? It wasn't. It's the result. It's more proof of the kind of things I'm saying about the way I've been received by others, because I was male raped repeatedly while growing up by America's Man of the Year while I was asleep. And this created this horrific life that I've been in to the very minute of right now. Today is the 13th of June, 2026, and the time is 'It looks like my watch here, I got 3 watches. The one which I'm going to read says 1:16